is that I think we have a lot of parks in our system that could use reprogramming. And so when we start looking at developable space, whenever you cut criteria, my concern is when you start establishing criteria, that's one very good way to point the process in a very specific direction. Mm-hmm. So what's the criteria? What makes the cut? What doesn't? And so then we end up with something where there may be a more appropriate option if we're willing to take a look at things and say these parks need reprogramming for whatever reason, mm-hmm. and we may be able, and that may give us an opportunity to revitalize a park or do something else. I mean, heck, we've got ball fields that, my understanding, get very little use, and they already have chain link fences, and they're like, a regulation size ball field is 3 acres right there.
As part of their facility use agreement. Below left picture shows the restroom and concession building that's located on site.
And excuse me, and one point that we would like to pause here and point out is that we would need to go and talk to the Little League about what impact this may have on their games or operation and relocating them in their games, but we thought we would start here first with that conversation. And so that lands us here with these points of direction that we'd like to receive tonight. As I've mentioned from the outset of the site that we're speaking of, Central Park, the same with our skate park and its status, the armory, authorizing us to look at ball field number 1, and I would want to talk with the sports associations along with that. In the same, authorizing staff to select the preferred location for the skate park at that armory site, and for us to move forward and bring on a consultant, a design consultant. We're open to questions.
Good evening, Mayor Athis, City Manager Bradford, Council. Thank you for what you do for the city. Thank you for letting us speak tonight. Tonight I come to you as the current volunteer president of South Garland Little League. I've been with South Garland Little League for 23 years now at different roles at the league. Next spring will make 60 years that South Garland Little League has chartered a Little League at Central Park. Thousands of Garland volunteers have come before us and taught tens of thousands of children the game of baseball, along with many life lessons and happy memories at Central Park. Little League is a program of service to youth. It is geared to provide an outlet of healthy activities and training under good leadership and an atmosphere of wholesome community participation. We are dedicated to help children become good and decent citizens. We are thankful that the City of Garland allows us to facilitate this league each year, and we continue to reach out and make our league and our community a better place. What brings us here today? First, I'd like to talk about 2 meetings that presidents of sports leagues have to go to each year, where we sign field use agreements every year, how many fields we're going to get to use. We talk about background checks, different rules that the city has. And then there's a separate meeting just for baseball groups, because there's 5 of us, 5 baseball groups. And each year they let us talk for a minute and they ask us, how's things going? And we all say, every city we go to has nicer baseball fields than we do. And we always get the answer, we have no money. The city has no money. Well, can you help us with our concession stand? It's falling apart. We have no money. I guess the notes that I have here, the minutes from 2014, they suggested a CIP project, but we assumed they were going to do that, but they didn't do that. So with that said, what I'm here for, and all our friends, we saw in the newspaper that one of our baseball fields and the armory were going to be used for something else. I read in the paper that they were thinking about using field number 1, that's the most northern field, for a dog park, and the field was built in 1953. That may be true, but a few years ago it was totally redone. The whole backstop, the dugouts, the concrete, all the benches were redone. So the city spent tens of thousands of dollars to fix that park. I don't know, Spring Creek by Hawaiian Falls. There's a huge place. They used to have concerts there. There's no cars. It's out in the woods. The dogs could have a great time out there. But tonight, the shelter sounds like the best spot for all. We would really like some help with our concession stand. It's 60 years old. We get these stories, it's not our building, it's not on the city inventory. Then why are you telling us how we could use it and how we can't use it? And we didn't build it. We just keep it up. But yet they don't want to help us. North Garland's collapsed. I'm assuming the city scooped it up and built the bathroom. I don't know if they did it. The football field, theirs is terrible. Now, the football games, that wouldn't be conducive to dog parks. The big PA screaming and the whistles blowing and all the parents yelling. And believe me, those football parents yell. We don't yell, though, right? No, they're not allowed to yell. That's not, at least not when I'm there. They don't yell. I don't know. We're here because, like I said, we're very protective of our park and our kids. We're not against a dog park. I think the biggest thing that hurts me personally, being involved with the Parks Department and working for the city for 35 years, them not including us, and nobody including us in this discussion. All you have to do is call. We'll come. We'll come talk about a dog park. We'll have other suggestions where to go. The other stuff, that doesn't look like a good idea for kids. Rockets and race cars and out all night, that doesn't seem safe in the park environment. I don't know what else to say. If you're here with the Little League, can you just stand up real quick? We don't want to clap or anything. I'll take questions before we go. We want to help. We have money. We want to build a batting cage. We want to fix our facility. We'll help pay. We have money. We don't want to be begging for stuff. That's all. Oh, you can say that. I just wanted to. The Parks Department with the new director, he's done a great job helping us out to fix up the parks, get them ready for our seasons. Mark, you could shake your head on that one, right? He's our field guy. They help us out tremendously. But there was this big secret that when they came out, they wouldn't tell us anything. They'd be out at the park and we'd say, "What are you doing?" "Oh, nothing." Like it was a big secret. We want to help. We live here. We want. I don't know why they were afraid to tell us, other than they were going to try to steal one or more of our fields.
Moving on to our next agenda item, item 11. This is consider approval of preparations being made for the demolition of the former Air National Guard Armory. I do have a number of speakers tonight. The first one I have is Beverly Darnell. I'm sorry, did you?
We have prepared a presentation if that was.
I'm sorry, I wasn't aware of that. Let's look at the presentation.
Well, I just wanted to provide staff had been requested to provide an update of the status of the project, right. And I just want to give a little bit of history and an update. Right now, as it stands, we have 2 bids for demolition of the administrative buildings on the north side of the lot. We originally started this process back in April at the council's request. We received just some price testing to see from a budget perspective what would be required. We actually asked for that bid to come in, or the pricing to come in, at both taking out the building by itself and also taking out the building and the slab and the adjoining concrete paving around the facility. And that pricing indication came in at a $47,000 for just the buildings, and about $122,000 for the slabs and the buildings. Then in the 1st of October, we actually did a bid process so we could get firm quotes from two hub vendors, and one of those was the original company providing the price indication. They stayed with those prices of $47,000 for the buildings, and the other vendor provided a significantly higher price. We did have some concern about making sure they were apples to apples, but based on their bid documents, it was clear that they had a clear understanding of the specifications and scope of work. We elected actually to look at that on both with the slab removal and the existing concrete and the buildings, because there is some value in that at the time there was no set design for the facility, and the significant concrete structures around the building are in very good shape, the parking areas, and that could be incorporated into something in the future. So that's the reason we priced that is both with and without the concrete removal. And so staff is prepared to move forward at council's direction with award of that. The schedule anticipated would be that there would be a 10-day notice period we would need.
Hi, guys. One meeting. Thank you.
Okay, I just wanted to have a few comments on some of your studies there. The study that you did on the traffic in that 2-week period, there was no baseball going on, there was no football going on, there was no tennis, no sporting around. So your traffic in that area was wrong. It's going to be much higher when you've got baseball and you've got football, because we do play baseball at the same time in the fall.
That study came from the Every Park Association said, can you have this study the next 2 weeks? And we said, sure, we're happy to do another one.
Okay, well, you have to do it when the fields are full, when everybody is out there. That place is packed. The other one was the sound study. You need to do a sound study when there's dogs, when there's skating, when there's baseball, when there's football, when there's kids running and screaming all through that park and play out there, and basketball and the tennis courts. And then the other thing I thought is, if you've got 3 sites at Central Park, why are you cramming both things in one spot? Why, if you've got 3 sites, put the dog park on site 1, put the skate park at site 2 or 3. Why are you cramming everything in one spot?
Well, 10.9 acres is actually a pretty big area, considering the skate park only needs 1 of the 10.9. We're looking at 2 to 3 acres for the dog park. And so, looking cumulatively, around 4 acres within a 10-acre site is not necessarily cramming it in. It's more just trying to find the right way of putting it.
Well, you have dogs, and you have kids, you've got skaters, and then you have dogs, and then the dogs get agitated when they see the kids running or the kids skating. I just think you're setting yourselves up for, I think you're setting yourself up for a lawsuit somewhere or failure, because you're going to have, the one thing that aggravates my dog is when there's balls. Well, she goes crazy for balls. She goes crazy when you're on the bicycle. I mean, I think it's just, you're opening up a can of worms.
It's not going to be a fun park for the dogs and their parents.
I have both a concern and a question. So I work as a dog trainer specializing in behavior issues, anxiety, aggression, frustration, things like that. The proximity of the dog park and the skate park would be a major, major concern to me. It was actually interesting that you mentioned Louisville Dog Park, that railroad dog park. When I was first studying aggression, frustration, so a lot of these behavior specialties or issues, that was one of the main places that I went to study frustrated, aggressive body language, because those dogs practiced seeing the skaters at a distance, running the fence line over and over and over again. And so it builds behavior issues in the dogs where, while they might not be expressed in the dog park or in that specific area, would be a danger for the community. So not only for the dog, but also for the skaters, for kids who are skating, people on bicycles. So it seems like, especially if there's any proximity, any close proximity between that dog park and that skate park, it would set you up for a lot of safety issues, not only in this area, but also in the city in general. So I wanted to know if you have any plans for dealing with that possibility of building up dangerous behavior, both in the dogs and for any kids or any bicyclists nearby. If there's any plans for any visual barriers, any greater proximity between the parks to prevent that issue from developing.
Yes,